Welcome. I am as you are. And I want to ask you a question. Who are you not to live your dream? Consider that for a minute. I mean, sincerely, who would each of us be to say no to that which we are? Well, today I am so honored to walk with you as we embody our divine nature and learn how to dissolve fear as we awaken our conscious awareness right now. Really feel that, because the gift is that when we actually say yes and we begin, we are expanding consciousness. And welcome. Welcome again. You know, right now it is about living our dream. And right now it is about trusting yourself, about loving yourself enough. And I mean enough to emerge through that which would seek to stop you. You know, hopefully you've been watching the show for a while and you're familiar already with the victim energy of victim, rescuer, abuser. That energy of fear that keeps us stuck and stuck and stuck in those seeds of self-sabotage, right? Because fear is the basis of our self-sabotage. And from our fear, we move into this incredible amount of doubt, right? You ever doubt? Have you ever doubted? Have you ever felt the energy of doubt? Well, when we feel the energy of doubt, we move into hesitancy. Now really breathe that in, because right now, in this moment, it's about trusting yourself enough and loving yourself enough to emerge through it all. Consider that. To emerge through it all. What would that feel like? What would that mean? To know that you are emerging and to consciously be aware of that. You know, it wasn't too many years ago that I put these tattoos on. I am emergence. And I did that in the understanding and the recognition that we are moving into a new era, that the alchemy itself is shifting. And right now, as I am recording this, we are in the presence. We are slowly building and emerging into the second of 3 supermoons of the year 2025 that are preparing us for the year 2026. The year 2025 has been a year of awareness, divine awareness. And in that divine awareness, it is saying, are you ready for the experience? Are you? Are you ready for the experience? And I'm really inviting you to go deep with that beyond a field of judgment. Because judgment is what holds us back from truly emerging into our conscious awareness. Imagine right now giving yourself the gift of relaxing through the energy of everything that's here right now. I mean, really relaxing to embody your divine nature. What would that even mean? Good question. It's a really good question. Because to embody our divine nature means that we first have to stabilize our 3 chakras at the base of the spine. That's number 1. So how do we do that? How do we embody our divine nature? How do we stabilize these 3 chakras? Well, let's not forget that the first 3 energy centers, the first, second, and third chakra, are traditionally about safety, sex, and power. They're the chakras that we navigate this world with. They're the ones that keep this body of form flowing. It's where most of our organs are located, that process food and everything that we need in density to keep this body of form alive until we remember and embody our divine nature and thereby emerge in the knowing that there are other ways to sustain this body of form. At the end of the day, you can command what it looks like, how it ages. You can do a lot of things when you embody your divine nature and dissolve the fear. Because fear is never going to go away, right? Face your fear and it will disappear. Maybe, hopefully. However, if you dissolve your fear, you awaken your conscious awareness. Imagine fear in your hand right now. Go ahead and look at it. I've looked at it a lot, especially over the past 2 years. So as you're looking at this fear, what does it feel like? Is it heavy? Is it sticky? Is it kind of scary looking? What does it feel like? What's it doing for you? But really feel it. Because if you're feeling it, then you're giving yourself an opportunity to notice it as what it really is. Nothing more than an experience of this world. And in this field of potentiality, in this specific field, we have all collectively chosen fear as our way to learn and grow and expand. And until we can dissolve it, we're ruled by it. And it becomes that first seed of self-sabotage, fear, doubt, and hesitancy. Now consider something, and when we talk about embodying our divine nature, I frequently talk about the perennial philosophies, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, this was work that was first done by Aldous Huxley and Spinoza, and if you go through my archive here of Expanding Consciousness, whether at my website, iamkira.com, or right here at YouTube, and I hope you've subscribed, I want you to learn more about the perennial philosophies. Just go ahead and put it in, you're going to hear a lot more. Now, why is this so important? Because the ancient rishis and sages had this all figured out. This was done. Why am I here? You ever wonder about that? Why am I here? Why is everything not happening this way? Why is everything not happening that way? All the why questions, all the shoulda, woulda, coulda that stop us. Well, what the ancient rishis and sages discovered was that the reason we are here at the end of the day, and there were 3 specifics, but the one that really matters in this moment is the reason you took birth, the reason you went through the sacred sequence of incarnation into this field of potentiality is because of what's happening right now. To remember your divine nature while you're still carrying this body of form. Now, why is that so important? Well, the reason that's so important is that in the traditional dogmatic traditions, especially the ones that are based on a victim, a rescuer, and an abuser, right? Keep you in that cycle, because that's the cycle of fear. Well, in those traditions, what happens is that as we're walking through, as we're evolving, we believe that we have to die to ascend. This will happen after I die. No, there's only a few that can attain mastery. Oh, I'm not worthy. I can never do this. I can never do that. Well, in a field of potentiality where we deify people after they're dead, and we tend to forget that which was in favor of that which we want you to believe is, you will never be good enough. You'll constantly question yourself. You'll constantly doubt yourself. One of the most profound lessons for me was when I had the blessing of being introduced to the autobiography of a yogi, blue cover. And I'm just going to say that, all right? So for all of you that have read Autobiography of a Yogi, and I'm sure many of you have, I know for myself as well, one of the most thrilling books I ever read, and I read it many, many times. And I was a member of the organization that has that brown copy out for many years. And then when my awakening started growing and growing and growing, and I was having more and more experiences, suddenly that found a conflict there. And I found the blue book. And I put them side by side, right? Autobiography of a Yogi, same one. The blue book was the one that they kept in court for many, many years because it was the actual, original, unedited manuscript, the way that Paramahansa Yogananda wanted it to be seen. And so I read them page by page. And here's what I learned, and I encourage you to try this. It's a phenomenal gift to yourself. I learned that Swami Sri Yukteswar was a tough dude who used to say a lot of tough things and hurt a lot of his people's feelings because he was just that clear. And it was like, here it is, either accept it or not. But all of that was weeded out in the other version. I read about Paramahansa's fears and self-doubt and his own challenges that he went through. All of that was taken out of the other book. Now, why am I sharing that with you? And there was more. Like I said, I did literally page by page. The reason I'm sharing that with you is this. You are ready. You are ready to remember everything you have ever been. And I mean without limit. You, right now in this moment, have the capacity to embody your divine nature through the gift of conscious awareness. And that's the blessing of the yoga of self-ascension. That's what the yoga of self-ascension offers. It is that beautiful, ever-refining spiral, as first shared through Archangel Zadkiel with Shri and I way back in 2002, when Archangel Zadkiel first said hello. The self-ascension is as unique as you are, and you do not have to die to ascend. Your physical body, all of our physical bodies right now are transforming. The alchemy itself is transforming. We are at the moment of the birth of the union seed, which is bringing out two very specific aspects of self. And in the birth of the union seed, what is happening is that the tria prima, mercury, sulfur, salt, is receiving this infusion of crystalline presence, of pure illumination, so that the elements of this field of existence are starting to find a new way of being. This body is part of that. How many plastics are in the ocean? How much is in your body right now? What about the seafood that you may be eating? Even the vegetables, it matters not. Your body has been adapting. My body, I've been on the planet 65 years, just getting started. What is happening is that we are adapting. We are adapting through everything that's happening. You can fight about it, argue about it, put your isms on it, which is just fear versus fear. But at the end of the day, right now, like it or not, accept it or not, it's not woo-woo, your body is metamorphosizing. All of our bodies are metamorphosizing. We as humanity are evolving. We are expanding. And right now is your greatest opportunity. It's like the universe has come in and said, hey, on the full moon in November, I'm going to open up this beautiful illuminated presence as this huge supermoon in the middle of 3 ignites between 2 meteor showers, the southern and the northern, in the same moment that Mercury says, why don't we return? Why don't we remember? Because the access to this knowledge is here for everyone, and you're ready. Throw a comment. Tell me, how are you noticing this knowledge is around you? How is this wisdom coming in around you? Because right now, to embody your divine nature releases that core. It's like, they're like chains. They feel like chains to me. And you know what those chains are? The chains are jealousy, greed, and competition. Jealousy, greed, competition. Imagine a world where those chains are gone and you're free to create. You're free to remember that there is enough for everyone, that everyone is having their unique journey. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it. And it doesn't mean they get carte blanche with it. There are always going to be ramifications. But one of the things that I really do remember that Paramahansa said that I loved is that when we compare, we kill. When we compare, we kill. You ever feel really great about something and then you tell somebody and they compare it and you lose all your enthusiasm or you start to self-doubt? Imagine a world where jealousy, greed, and competition can relax so that victim consciousness can simply invite fear to dissolve, victim consciousness to dissolve as you step into the ascended presence and embody yourself as the teacher, mentor, and the healer, because that's who you are. You are always a teacher, you are always a mentor, and you are always a healer. It's just been hidden in this energy of victim, rescuer, abuser. And that's been kept alive through this beautiful cycle that keeps spinning inside of it that's based upon fear, doubt, and hesitancy. So look at that fear again, right now. Remember that fear we had in our hand at the beginning? Feels a lot lighter, doesn't it? Right? Just kind of let it go. Say goodbye to that. Because you are an ascended being. And you're here to remember that. You're here to call that in. You're here to live, be, and know all that you are. This is that moment. You can do it because it's yours to dissolve. But we dissolve it through the relaxation into the self that releases the self-judgment, calls forward the forgiveness, and illuminates the eternal smile. I am as you are. And it is your moment, as it is the moment for all. I love you. Visit iamkira.net. Be there on Tuesday nights. So much more to share. Keep coming back. Make sure you subscribe and post me a chat. I do look at everyone. I love you. You're amazing. Many blessings and namaste.